الحياة سمانية
طفال الحياة نار حياة سمانية
طفال الحياة نار حياة سمانية
طفال الحياة نار حياة سمانية
عليم بالبينة بنبيا
سمانية
والحرب يا ظهور غبيا سمانية
طفال الحياة نار حياة سمانية
عليم بالبينة بنبيا
سمانية
والحرب يا ظهور غبيا سمانية
طفال الحياة نار حياة سمانية
في كيفية رمض
يا سمانية
بالعهد وفي أهل الأرض
يا
سمانية
طفال الحياة نار حياة سمانية
في كيفية رمض
يا سمانية
بالعهد وفي أهل الأرض
يا
سمانية
طفال الحياة نار حياة سمانية
يا رجال الطيب ما
يا سمانية
سوى وعطية بيمحق
يا
سمانية
طفال الحياة نار حياة سمانية
يا رجال الطيب ما
يا سمانية
سوى وعطية بيمحق
يا
سمانية
طفال الحياة نار حياة سمانية
الغوثوية
على دخل يا سمانية
الله قوية صفات
نبوية
سمانية
طفال الحياة نار حياة سمانية
الغوثوية
على دخل يا سمانية
الله قوية صفات
نبوية
سمانية
طفال الحياة نار حياة سمانية
مرضية
نفوس ربيع سمانية
الماء وضياء
الأرض يا
سمانية
طفال الحياة نار حياة سمانية
مرضية
نفوس ربيع سمانية
الماء وضياء
الأرض يا
سمانية
طفال الحياة نار حياة سمانية
علماء أمية
بنو القومية سمانية
بالأهمية
دوام محمية
سمانية
طفال الحياة نار
The Sudanese Sammaniyya, an introduction. It is my great pleasure in this new episode today to present one of great influential and significant Sufi orders throughout the Sudanese Sufism history. Our presentation in this episode will be devoted to handle the coming of the Sammaniyya Sufi order into Sudan. However, the Tariqa, since its arrival into Sudan under the guidance of Sheikh Ahmad al-Tayyib al-Bashir, the founder of the Tariqa, has played great role and having magnificent contribution in the spread and consolidating of Islam in the country from a side, and the development and the evolution of the Sufi thought in the country at the same time. However, the Tariqa was an area of numerous studies and different investigations that have been carried out by researchers and historians since its arrival at the end of the French Sultanate. Here, just I would like to explore parts of the views that have been expressed by some researchers and some writers in favor of the Tariqa. In Cambridge History of Africa, 1975, Volume 4, in a section devoted to the history and the influence of the Qadiriya in Sudan, Richard Gray has written, towards the end of the Fong period, its predominance was challenged by the introduction into Sudan of two new orders, which, although linked with traditional Sufism, bore witness to a revivalist and reforming spirit in the Islamic world. The first of these was the Sammaniyya, founded in the Hijaz by Muhammad ibn Abdul Karim al-Samman. The Sammaniyya in Sudan represents one of the most important Sufi turuq in modern Sudan. The importance of the Sammaniyya lies in the fact that it is one of the Sufi turuq that shaped the nature of Islam in Sudan. Moreover, the tariqa reflects the process, the arrival and the advent of the tariqa reflects the process of Sudanization of an Orthodox Sufi ulama tariqa that was founded in Hijaz. The order spread its wings in all corners of Sudan. One is not apt to find a single town or village except that the Samaniya has followers and lovers within it. The Tariqa has great contribution in Sudan since it was introduced in the foreign territories by a Sudanese disciples Ahmad al-Tayyib al-Bashir, who was initiated in Medina by a Samman himself about the year 1757, 1758. According to the renowned Irish historian Rex O'Fahey, the Samaniya has left behind a significant impact in Neolithic Sudan. He comments, another branch of the Khalwatiyya which had significant impact in the Neolithic Sudan was that of Muhammad ibn Abdul Karim al-Samman, student of the Egyptian Khalwati Sheikh Mustafa al-Bakri. To the Sudanese historian Professor Hassan Makki, the Samaniya is an oldest tariqa to shape the Sudanese mentality, remained in foreign state for almost 40 years, practicing advice and providing guidance, taslik. In his words, the Samaniya expanded to multiple centers and emerged as one of the most significant turuq in modern-day Sudan. It also gained the largest scientific, spiritual, and literary library. While to Dr. Tariq Muhammad Osman, the Sudanese researcher and author, the Sammaniya is an open Sudanese tariqa since the second generation. Several famous caliphs with such a high exalted status in the society have appeared, and outside of the family of Sheikh Ahmad al-Tayyib. سي طارق محمد عثمان طريق السمانية وأثرها الديني والاجتماعي في السودان PhD thesis International African University Khartoum 2009. In the view of the researcher Dr. Qaiser Musa Zain, in his views, in addition to enjoying its own autonomy, the Samaniya Tariqa can be seen as a progressive branch of the Qadiriyya. Samaniya stood out for its attention to Sufi elite writings, editing, and thought in this field. Actually, the Samaniya found the atmosphere ready upon arrival, which aids in its dissemination and expansion. See قيصر موسى الزين الفكر الديني في السودان في القرن العشرين UK University of Khartoum Institute of Asian and African Studies 2010 page 28. In the studies and researches, the Samaniya is depicted and described as a revivalist tariqa, and the description of the Samaniya as revivalist tariqa is attributed to its founder, here, in a Sudan setting, in its Sudanese setting. Its founder, Sheikh Ahmad Tayyib al-Bashir, is known as a Sufi scholar and author. So because of this, his writings has introduced new ideas to the Sudanese Sufism. And because of this, the tariqa has been described since it based on its foundation on science and knowledge. However, the spirit of Sufism, by the way, has started with the founder Shah Ahmad al-Tayyib and continued to the present day. And out of the Sammaniyya, so numerous and many authors and scholars have emerged. However, with the coming of the Tariqa into the Sudan, Sheikh Ahmad al-Tayyib has gone with the same spirit of the revivalism trend of the Sammaniyya as the case in its earth. So he's coming to the land of the Sudan with the new philosophy of Tasawwuf, which was not familiar to the Sudanese Sufis before, has opened the door so wide for the dissemination of Samman's teachings. In his renowned book, The Sufi Brotherhoods in the Sudan, the late professor and historian Ali Saleh Karrar wrote that the spirit of revivalism connected with the Sheikh Hamad al-Tayyib al-Bashir was on the philosophy of Tasawwuf in the country. In his own words, he wrote, Ahmad al-Tayyib was to infuse a new spirit into Sudanese Sufism, leading to a renowned emphasis not only on such practical aspects of dhikr and madih, but also on the philosophy of Sufism. The researcher Mustafa Abdul Wahid, on the same way, while commenting on the spirit of revivalism on the Sammaniyya, has written in his study entitled The Rise of the Islamic Movement in Sudan 1945-1989, he writes, by the start of the 19th century, the Sudan began to receive representatives of Sufi revivalist groups, which began in Hijaz and other parts of the Islamic world during the 18th century. Chief among these movements were the Sammaniyya and the Khatmiyya. The dissemination of the Sammaniyya in Sudan. Sheikh Ahmad al-Tayyib al-Bashir, powerful personality with the broad knowledge, coupled with his spiritual strengths, adding to his connection between Tasawwuf and Sharia in his words, which shows his general spirit in reform and dawah. These were of great help in the acceptance of the new teachings of the Sammaniyya into the country, into Sudan. However, the Sammaniyya Tariqa in Sudan has spread through two axes. One through the grand students of Sheikh Ahmad al-Tayyib al-Bashir and their students after them, while the second axis is through the efforts that had been led by Sheikh al-Tayyib, the founder, grandsons himself, and the khulafa of them after them. I mean here, that is the dissemination and the spreading out of the Tariqa Sammaniyya into Sudan and beyond has been attributed to two groups. The first group is that of the earliest student of Sheikh Ahmad Tayyib himself, and then the students after them, while the second group has been led by the grandson of Sheikh Ahmad Tayyib himself. So the grandson of Sheikh Ahmad Tayyib, by the way, represent the second group that has participated immensely in the spread out of the Sammaniyya teachings in the Sudan and outside the country. More information will be devoted to the Tariqa teachings in our coming episodes.
يا سمانية بعد الحياة نار حياة سمانية بعد الحياة نار حياة سمانية عليم البيان سوق نبيا سمانية والحرب يا صهور غبيا سمانية بعد الحياة نار حياة سمانية عليم البيان سوق نبيا ثمانية ظهور حج يا ظهور مرضية ثمانية بعد الحياة نار حياة ثمانية في كيفية وانفوبية ثمانية بالعهد وفي أهل الألفية ثمانية